iHeart, get ready. Fantasy football is here. Welcome to the Scout Fantasy Show. ScoutFantasy.com is home to the Fantasy Football World Championships and the best players in the world. Real money winners giving their secrets to help you win. Now exclusively on iHeart. This is the Scout Fantasy Show with your host, the one, the only, Dr. Roto.
Hey there, everyone. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. All right, we're going to get to the Minnesota Twins podcast preview in just a minute. But I want to talk about an injury that happened to a player and what my thoughts are on how to approach it. So, David Dahl, 22-year-old outfielder for the Colorado Rockies. And he is a great young hitter. He's got power, he's got speed, high expectations all around. But he's been diagnosed with a stress reaction, I guess we'll call it, of his rib. They thought it was a back injury, but it looks like it's a rib injury, and maybe they're connected in somehow, right? He was dealing with a sore back, but it could be that it's part of all the same thing. And he's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Okay? So it's now March 7th. 2 weeks from now, we'll call it March 21st. Assuming he can come back at that point, or he could start activity slowly. Okay, I'm going to assume that. It's still going to take him at least 2 to 4 weeks to get back on track because he really hasn't done anything in the spring. So he's got to go down to the minors to ramp back up. Is this a problem when you draft him? Yes and no. I think a lot of people overreact and say, oh my God, he's going to miss the first 3 weeks. That's terrible. Oh my God. Well, April's a crazy month anyway. Snows a lot, bad weather, rain. It's Colorado. You don't think they're going to miss a couple of games anyway? So what I'm arguing here is I still would draft Dahl if I think he'll be back by April 30th, which I do. So he's missing a month of the season. Is he still going to get me 450 at-bats? Am I still going to project out 15 home runs and 15 steals? Probably. So while I might not take him in the 6th round, which I never thought was a great idea anyway, I still would take him as my fourth outfielder. Maybe not my 3rd anymore, but certainly my 4th. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Yes, there's an injury. I get that. But this is still a very good player who will be back shortly. Now, don't forget, Le'Veon Bell out for 3 weeks. Did it make a difference? No, he was a monster. Now, I'm not comparing Le'Veon Bell to David Dahl. I'm just saying, did we overreact in fantasy football this year when Le'Veon Bell was missing the first 3 games? He probably helped many teams win a fantasy football championship. So that's what I want to keep in mind. All right, let's move now to the Minnesota Twins podcast preview. First of all, Jason Castro is the new catcher for the Twins. Now, at some time in his career, Jason Castro had power. I think it was 5 years ago. He'd hit 18 home runs, hit 276, and I think people were like, wow, this guy's the next big hitter. No, it didn't turn out that way. He really wasn't that good a hitter. But he's a very good catcher. And I think he makes their pitching staff better, which is the reason they went and got him. That said, please don't expect more than 15 home runs and a batting average of like 230 from Jason Castro, because that's what he's capable of. Not too much more than that. Okay? He's a second catcher in a 2-catcher league. I would argue that Joe Mauer is barely, and when I say barely, I mean barely, rosterable in a mixed league. Now, in an AL-only league, I have no problem with it. But in a mixed league, he doesn't hit 350 anymore. He doesn't hit 320. In the last 3 years, 277, 265, 261. The home runs aren't there. The RBIs aren't there. The steals aren't there. The runs aren't there. You know what's there? His name. He's got a really good name. Joe Mauer. Let me tell you something. If Joe Mauer's name comes for a buck in my draft, I'm ducking because I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying two. So don't get caught up in names. Joe Mauer, great name at one time. Now, not so great. Not so great at all. You want to get caught up in a great name, though. How about Brian Dozier? Brian Dozier is a very good player. He is a very good player. Now, he's never going to hit for a big average. Last year was his best average at 268. And I think he's more of a 240, 250 hitter than 270. But what if he hit another 30 home runs and 80 RBIs and stole 20 bases and scored another 100 runs? I think you'd like that a whole lot. I think the problem is with Dozier, people hate the team. Oh, the Twins, man, they suck. They hate the average. Oh, this guy can't hit 240. Scores 100 runs, can hit 30 home runs, 90 RBIs and 20 stolen bases? Where else are you going to find that? This guy's a really good player. I think he's very underrated. People diss Brian Dozier. I don't know why. I would embrace Brian Dozier. If he's there in the third round of your draft, take him. Take him. I mean, his average is not very good, but in an on-base percentage league, it wasn't bad. 340 will help you. At shortstop, I really like Jorge Polanco. He's 23. He's really not that mature as a player yet, but he's pretty good. He's a pretty good player. So last year in his first real season in the AAA and majors, kid had 13 home runs and close to 60 RBIs. Stole a few bases. I think he has tactical speed, but better than he looks. And he can hit for an average. I like him. I like him. Now, he's not reliable in the field yet, which is a problem, but he's an exciting young player. And I'll say this. If Byron Buxton, who we'll talk about in a few minutes, doesn't bat leadoff, I think Jorge Polanco might. I think he might. He's a good hitter. He's got some speed. So let's not diss Jorge Polanco just yet. I think he could turn out to be a very interesting player that you could get in the reserve round of your leagues. If he can just learn how to field, he may stay in that lineup for a while. He's 23. You know who else is 23? Miguel Sano is 23. That's right, 23 years old. Now, last year, he hit 236 with 25 home runs and 66 RBIs. He's got no steals. Got one steal. His average is low, and his runs scored are not great. But he's got power. He is a young Giancarlo Stanton type guy. What's good about Sano is last year he qualified at third base and outfield. So the positional eligibility is terrific on him. It really is. It's really good. And the power is there. He's got legitimate 40 home run power in his bat. That's hard to find. So I'm in on him. I am. I'm in on Sano. But do I like Castellanos better? Do I like Jung Ho Kang better? Do I like Jake Lamb better? Well, the average will be there. And if Sano hits too low in the lineup, I don't know how many runs scored he's going to have. Joe Mauer is not knocking many guys in. Jason Castro is not knocking guys in. So I have to see the lineup here. But Sano is somebody who can hit. He's got a lot of power. Take a close look at him. The number one guy on this team is arguably Byron Buxton, another 23-year-older. I mean, this guy is young. And he was sent down last year. But when he came up, I think he played a lot better. Now, he still strikes out a whole lot. But here's something that somebody had said to me. The hitting coach was getting in his head last year, and it made for a disappointing season. They've since fired the hitting coach, and now they're just letting him relax more at the plate. I still think it's a mistake to believe that he's going to be the leadoff hitter. And I'll tell you why. The Twins are a very conservative organization. They don't want to rush guys, and they don't want to put guys in positions to fail. It's one thing to put Jorge Polanco in leadoff, and it's one thing to put Buxton. If you put Polanco there, there's no expectation. The guy hits 270. Great. If Buxton's there, if he doesn't hit 340, people are upset. So he strikes out a little bit too much. But he's got the speed and he's got power, so I think they want him atop the lineup, but it's a lot like Keon Broxton. They're willing to do it if they can see that he can do it. If he can't do it, they want no part of it. So I think he's going to hit leadoff, but not until June 1st. I think they're going to give him the first couple of months of the season, probably to hit ninth, I would say, and work his way to leadoff. Max Kepler is a very interesting player, another young guy. And he was really good. There were some stretches there during the year. I remember in DFS, if you didn't play Max Kepler, you're like the biggest idiot in daily. But then he slowed down toward the end of the season. He only hit 235. But I'm going to say this. I think this is a guy who really wants to be good. Right? He really wants to be good. He's aggressive. He trusts his swing. He works hard. He wants to be a good player. And I think when you have that kind of work ethic like Max Kepler does, good things happen. He stays in there, gets his cuts. Baseball's not easy. Peaks and valleys. Good days, bad days. Good weeks, bad weeks. So maybe he has a couple of bad weeks. He'll get hot, and when he gets hot, he can carry a team. And he's a real good fit on this team. Another young bat on this team who I like very much. Another young guy is Eddie Rosario. And Eddie Rosario is, I don't know what the word I would use for him is. I think he's got skills, but he's just not there yet. He's had some decent years. I mean, a couple of years ago, at 23 years old, he had 450 at-bats. He had 13 home runs and 11 stolen bases, but he didn't get better last year, and I think it was because there was a lot of pressure on him. I'll also say this. I want to see Eddie Rosario against righties, and they've got this guy, Robbie Grossman, and Robbie Grossman hits lefties well. So I think you're going to see a real strict platoon there. Lefty-righty platoon with Eddie Rosario. Now, I think they would like Eddie Rosario to be the full-time guy, but I'm just not sure he's capable of it. I think Robbie Grossman will play. Kepler will get the first shot to play full-time. If he can handle it, he will. Because Grossman's going to play, but I think it's going to come against Rosario and not Kepler. But don't forget the name Robbie Grossman. If you're in an AL-only league, you need an outfielder at the end of the draft, he might be decent. I'm not saying he's good, but, I mean, last year he had 11 home runs and had 280. So you know what? Why couldn't he be the fourth outfielder there? I think he could be. At DH, I think we're looking at Kenneth Vargas. Okay? He's the guy. Maybe there's Byung-Ho Park. I don't know. But Vargas is he's a very powerful man. And he should hit 20 home runs. I don't think he'll do much more than that, but he should be able to get in there, get in your lineup and hit 20 home runs and have some use. Not going to steal any bases, not great average, but he will be fine. All right, let's take a look at the pitching staff. So first you have Brandon Kintzler. Now, there are certain guys who aren't great pitchers, but they pitch effectively. And I would say Kintzler's that guy. Last year in 54 innings, he had 35 strikeouts, but he only had 8 walks, but he saved 17 games. So you can't argue with the results. The results were good, but he's just not a great pitcher. He's not a lights-out closer. But, Jim Johnson did it for years. You keep the ball down. You don't let up a lot of home runs. You don't let up a lot of walks. You can keep the job. Now, Glenn Perkins, I don't think is going to be the guy. I mean, they're first talking about him coming back in May. And I think even if he comes back, he may not be the guy. So Brandon Kintzler is going to get the first chance to keep this job. Okay? I think he's the most interesting guy in that bullpen. I do. I'll give you another guy, JT Chargois. I'm just saying him. In AAA last year, lights out. 35 innings, 27 hits, 1 home run, 41 strikeouts. Saved 9 games. JT Chargois. So just take a look at him. If Kintzler struggles and Perkins, it can't get right, JT might give you some big points. All right, starting staff. Oh, don't forget another guy, Trevor May. They've been bouncing Trevor May to the rotation, to the bullpen. I like Trevor May. I think he's their effector. Okay, he's their effector. Couple of innings, maybe a 2-inning thing. Maybe he can get 2 innings twice a week, so maybe that's 4 innings a week, and he can get you a couple of strikeouts. I like him. In an AL-only league, I'll put Trevor May on my team for $1. No problem with that. I think this is a guy that could get, 70, 80 innings in the bullpen. Sure, I mean, he's a guy that can throw a lot. I know they may want to start him, but I think he's better in the bullpen. So let's talk about their starting staff. I want to begin with Jose Berrios. Now, Berrios is a really good young player. Now, here's what he is. Right now, he's a 4A player. What do I mean by a 4A player? It means in AAA last year, he pitched 111 innings, 74 hits, 125 strikeouts, 36 walks. He had a whip of .99. He is too good for AAA. But he comes to the majors and he gets rocked. He comes to the majors and he just was never good. I mean, in 14 games last year, earned runs, 5, 2, 3, 7, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5, 3, 2, 3, 1. That's not very good. But this is what we call a post-hype sleeper. Hype. Berrios. We love this guy. Best pitcher in the American League. Best rookie. Oh, man, this guy sucks. I hate this guy. Well, you can't go from good to suck. He's got skills. He's got some skills. So give him a shot. If he figures it out, did you see those minor league numbers? They were unhittable. So I'm absolutely in on Berrios, and I'll stick him on my reserve squad, or as my 5th or 6th starter. I'll take a shot. Hector Santiago, look, if you're an American League only league, fine. I'm really not interested. Kyle Gibson, they talked about him changing his delivery this offseason because of an injured shoulder. I hear the word shoulder pain. Bing, 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 bing. That's a red flag. I'm not interested. Shoulder pain and Dr. Roto don't go along very well. I've had shoulder pain. I don't want to pitch through it. Let me share that with you. I don't want to pitch through it. And I don't want you to have a player who has to either. Now, Ervin Santana is their number one guy. Now, he ain't young. He's 34 years old, but he's still a pretty good pitcher. He keeps them in games. Now, I don't know if he's ever going to be a 200-inning guy ever again. But can he make 30 starts? Can he throw 180 innings? Can he win 10 games? Is he not going to kill you? That's about right. He's not going to kill you. Is he great? No. But he's not going to kill you. And sometimes when you're putting a pitching staff together, especially in a mono league, when I say mono, I mean AL or NL versus mixed league, sometimes you need guys who aren't going to kill you. That doesn't mean they're great, but $3 for Ervin Santana at the end of my draft, I can live with that. I don't love him, but I can live with that. So what did we decide? We love Dozier, upside on Sano, watch Polanco, love Buxton, love Kepler. After that, it's kind of dicey. I take a shot on Kinsler. I take a shot on Jose Berrios. And don't forget JT Chargois. I just like saying that name. All right, but what I want you to do right now is I want you to check out scoutfantasy.com. I want you to enter the promo code ROTO. That's ROTO. You pay for 1 month, we get you 2 more for free. Here's what we're doing. We've got my Fantasy in a Nutshell series. We've got the Team Outlooks by Sean Childs. We've got Adam Ronis' player profiles. Our rankings are up. And we're also doing something called Preseason Pro. We did it for football. We give you some busts, some sleepers, and stash and cash guys. Stash and cash, a minor leaguer like JT Chargois, right? Where else would you... Seriously, tell me where else you're going to find that name except for Scout Fantasy. Guys like me and Adam Ronis and Sean Childs, we've been to the winner's circle before, and we want to get you there. That's how you're going to be happy, because when you're winning, you're happy. It's fun to play, but it's more fun to win, right? But time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Want to thank you guys for being part of the Scout Army. And if you're not, remember, scoutfantasy.com, promo code ROTO, ROTO. Pay for 1 month, get 2 more for free. Be here with us, and I'll be back. That's right, I will be back. More podcasts to get you through your fantasy baseball season. So with that, guys, I wish you a great day. Be well. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Scout Fantasy Show. There's never been a better time to join the Scout Army. Visit scoutfantasy.com. Use the promo ROTO for 2 months free. And don't forget, fantasy players, please thumbs up the podcast on the iHeart app. See you next time. Go Scouts!